Vinyl Ventures crew, we get to ambush people and ask them what's in their bag. But hey, so we thought we would do a version of a post version of our trip to Minneapolis. What's in your bag? So it's gonna be a fun little outing. We found some great stores that we wish we could have gone to more, but we only had enough time to go to a couple, and they were both really good.
We were also a little handicapped by the fact that we were traveling to them on bicycles.
Yes,
records aren't terribly easy to take on bicycles unless you have a basket, which they did, but we hit a few bumps, and I had nightmares in my head of these records just flying out of that basket.
Yeah, thank God we got the bags.
Yes. So the first store, we aren't going to distinguish what records came from what stores, but the first store we went to was Electric Fetus. Fantastic store.
Great store.
Had a great mix of new vinyl and used vinyl. And then the second store that we went to is Cheapo Records, and again, it was a great mix. I may have feelings about the way things are organized in any of these stores, but it was just fantastic.
It was a great, and they had a lot of stuff. They had a bazillion CDs and DVD.
Yes.
They had it was a media store.
Yeah, and Electric Fetus also had a lot of gear.
Yeah.
Which
they were different stores that I can't think of a local store that is a lot like them.
Right. They were just great, and that's the great thing about these stores is the personality that comes with them.
And so they were really made for big cities.
Yeah, absolutely. So what's the first Minneapolis pick that you want to tell us about?
First Minneapolis pick. Oh, and the other thing I'll mention about these stores, the prices. They had really good prices.
Absolutely.
I mean, especially on used stuff. You never know on used stuff what you're going to get into, but they had great prices on used stuff.
And that's a rarity, I think. So let me take the Vinyl Ventures record down.
And the first one I'll talk about is Furniture. This is probably a band nobody's ever heard of.
You just read my mind.
Yes. And it's an unopened version of this new release. And basically Furniture, the first time I heard of the band, they're an 80s band, but they were on Some Kind of Wonderful, the soundtrack.
Great movie, great soundtrack.
They have this beautiful song. It's almost a ballad, but it's called Beautiful Mind. And I just love the song.
Great.
I mean, if you heard the song again, you're like, oh, yeah, I remember that from the film.
Yeah, it's been a while since I've seen the movie, but I remember seeing it when I was younger, and I just loved it. Because it was one of those movies that music was intrinsically a part of. Yeah. It wasn't just stuck in there to be background noise. It was very much a part of the movie.
Yeah, so I don't know much about this yet. I haven't even opened it. I only know the one song. I think I've listened to a couple of their other songs on YouTube. I have never, ever seen anything by Furniture in the wild.
Oh, that's cool.
So it's new old stock. It's not even opened.
I love there, right on the back.
Yeah.
No doubt who it is. That's cool, man.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
But that's pretty cool. New. I don't even think it's a repop. I think it's just new old stock.
Yeah. And just another thing is at both of these stores, I did find unopened old stuff. So that's cool.
And that's super cool. I don't know. Has it been sitting in the store for 30 years?
Excellent.
But look at that. New old stock, $11.97. Their prices were weird.
Yeah.
There was stuff that was $3.50.
Yeah. Is this from Cheapo or?
Yeah, it's from Cheapo.
Okay. Yeah. All right. Well, the first one I'm going to mention is from Electric Fetus, and it's actually a release for Electric Fetus. If you look at the rectangular hype sticker, one of them, there's two on here. This is Dawes' most recent Misadventures of Doom Scroller, and this is a 10-inch version of the record that was made especially for Electric Fetus, and it's autographed. And again, this is so recent that I haven't opened this to listen to it. Yeah. And I've gotten into the habit of trying to avoid if I've got something or bought something by somebody that I haven't heard, if I've already made that commitment, I'm not going to go listen to it until I drop the needle. So I'm going to listen to this. But I thought it was great. It was a great price for an autographed 10-inch copy. And because I spent money on other used records, I got extra money off this. So it was great. But I'll give you a report. Oh, by the way, this is number 588 of 1,000.
588.
So and it's so crazy because Wheels and I spent like 3 hours in this store, and I walked by this end cap where this was, because I think the whole end cap was autographed.
Yeah.
Stuff, which is cool.
Yeah, because somebody else recommended, a friend said, make sure you go to Electric Fetus. I'm like, we were just there.
Yeah. But I walked by it the whole time we were there, and then right before I went to pay, I saw this. I'm like, so yeah, that's my first one is the new DAWs.
And it's a 10-inch. I thought about that, but I'm not that into DAWs. And
what's your next one you want to share?
Somebody I am really into.
Okay. Oh gosh.
Cracker.
Yes.
And this was their very first release.
This is the MOV version.
Yes, because for whatever reason, MOV is just releasing. It must have just come out.
I think it came out like a week or two before.
Yeah, and I had not heard about it. I mean, I've been through a pretty busy phase, and I had not heard about it. So, but anything by Cracker, I'm picking up, just because there's not a lot of vinyl out there.
No, and they haven't put a lot of records out.
They've got like 6 or 7 records.
But I have always loved this, even before I heard the music on it, because the packaging is just fantastic. This would be artwork and packaging. This would be up there. Yeah. Because it's just so cool.
It's so perfect.
They were going for a thing, and they accomplished it.
Yeah.
And these MOV hype stickers are great too.
And I mean, the MOV stuff always sounds phenomenal.
Yeah, it's awesome. Great choice, man.
Yeah.
My next one is actually from Cheapo Records, and it's Piper's first record, Can't Wait. And this is, for those of you who don't know, I love Billy Squier. This is Billy Squier's pre-solo band. So this is their first record. And I never see this anywhere. I never see any of those Piper records. And this was, I think, $6.99. So I was like, wait a minute, this is Electric Fetus, I think. But when I was flipping through and I saw this, it was an immediate. There was no thought to it. It's just a great band. It's kind of like Billy Squier, maybe a little more poppy, a little less rock, but it's so nice to still be doing this for as long as I have, and to see stuff that just literally surprises me in record stores.
Well, and that's the thing about going to record stores in other cities. You see, I know we've talked about this a lot, but you see a lot of different stuff.
Yeah.
And I mean, I don't know that sometimes it's regional. Like we saw a bunch of regional stuff in Minneapolis, but then you find stuff, this is definitely not regional.
Yeah.
It's just something that popped up. Well, I mean, it's the same way that other stuff.
Yeah. Minneapolis, though, it has a lot of artists that are big artists that are from Minneapolis. Yeah. So the funny thing is I didn't see a lot of Jayhawks. Either of the stores we went to.
That was kind of
very
strange.
odd. What's your next one?
All right, next, The Lucy Show. And this is another 80s band that I've heard on a podcast that I don't know much about, that I wasn't in tune with in the 80s, but the songs I've heard, I love. And it's a used copy, $360. Where'd he come up? I don't know where these prices.
You know, the funny thing is, again, with that cover and artwork and color palette that you see, and you're immediately like, this is an 80s thing.
Know it's an 80s record.
I mean, isn't that crazy how subconsciously that pops into your head?
Well, those iridescent colors were big in
the 80s, and fluorescence. That's cool. And this is a promo copy too, so it was actually illegally sold to you because it's not supposed to be sold.
Well, I don't want to get arrested.
You might have the vinyl cops coming after you. That's great. Yeah, I'll just have to add it to that list of things that Wheels likes that I need to hear.
Yeah, and I need to hear it to really know, wow, I really love this band. So.
Yeah. Cool, man. Well, my last one is not an old, well, it is an old record, but this must have recently come out. I've never had this on vinyl, and this is Green Day's Warning, and it's my favorite Green Day record. This is pre-American Idiot.
Oh, wow.
And, you know, they kind of went to more of an acoustic sound on this. And I don't think that translated with their audience. So then when American Idiot came out, it was a little more hard rocking, a little more punky.
So they're like,
But this I have loved. And this is the crazy thing is I wasn't a Green Day fan up until this record. But then I heard this record
flipped you.
Yeah. And I think this is their third or fourth. So it's not me ignoring them in their first record and going to their second one. It's waiting a couple. But now I celebrate their entire catalog. So
that's cool.
Yeah, man. Minneapolis was a fun place to visit, a fun place to shop. We went to baseball games. We went to great restaurants. So, you know, we want to thank you, Minneapolis, for being such a great host city for us. And we will be back to shop at the record stores.